What's going on, everybody? I'm Terrence, and this is Bank Shipping. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everybody's having a good morning so far. And if you ain't up, go ahead and get up and start that grind. It is Tuesday morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, up here in Aberdeen, Maryland again. I was supposed to have 2 loads, both 6 a.m. appointments, delivering Monday and Tuesday. But we got a little bit of snow on Sunday and the Monday, plus ice. So Kingspan did not open the plant yesterday. So what ended up happening is I just took the load that I loaded Friday up here today, and then the other load got pushed till Monday of next week. So not too terrible, didn't really mess up my week. So good there, but it wouldn't have been so bad if it wasn't for the ice. You know, I was going to come up here yesterday and deliver just later than 6 a.m. You know, I was going to call, say, hey, I'm running late due to the weather, and go ahead and still deliver. Then I found out Kingspan did not open up, so I was like, well, it's kind of pointless because I'm still going to miss one of the drop-off dates. So I decided to, you know, call the Kingspan, and we worked everything out to where it is right now. But the roads weren't terrible at first. See, we got about 5 to 6 inches of snow, but then they were calling for about 1/10 of an inch of ice on top of the snow or less. But we ended up getting 2 inches of ice on top of the snow. Now, that's not bad. You know, a lot of times it's a lot worse when you get the ice underneath the snow, but we got the ice on top of the snow. So, you know, when you're coming through with your plow truck or whatever, you're pushing all that stuff away because the ice is sitting on top of the snow, so it gets it nice and clear. Well, since people were expecting only 1/10 of an inch of ice or less, they went ahead and cleared roads, cleared streets, cleared parking lots, all that stuff before the ice hit. Well, everything was nice and clear, and then you get 2 inches of ice on top of that. Everything turns into a skating rink. So, needless to say, it was a mess. They had another ordeal in Southern Virginia down there in Roanoke on 81, sort of like what they had on 95. Not as bad, they got it cleared up pretty good, but the snow and ice, you know, it just hampered everything, you know, down my way. Now, up this way, they didn't get nothing, you know, so that's why I was like, you know, if I can get out of my area, get over towards 95 and head north, I'll be fine. Well, there really wasn't no getting out of my area because everything was a skating rink. I mean, it was terrible. You know, and then I ended up going to my truck yesterday to clean everything off so I didn't have to do it early this morning. And it was a pain, you know, everything. You had to break all the ice up before you could get any of the snow off. You know, this morning, trying to get my straps off, they was stuck under, you know, ice and stuff. It was a pain. I can't stand wintertime. I don't like the cold. I don't like the snow. You know, I'm too old to be liking the snow. You feel me? Like, I'm not going outside and sleigh riding or anything like that. Back when I was a kid, I didn't mind it. But now that I gotta go to work, I don't want no parts of snow. You know, not to mention, y'all see me bundled up. I still ain't got no heat. Waiting on my heater core. You know, I ordered a new heater core. Who knows when it'll be here. It'll probably, knowing my luck, it'll probably end up like another ordeal when I didn't have AC over the summer because my fan motor was broke. Ordered a fan motor and it took like 4 months to get in. So hopefully not, but I'm just prepared to freeze the rest of the winter. You know, I don't really understand these supply chain issues, man. Like, let's get it together. Like, I'm working, I'm driving. I see other drivers on the road. I see plenty of drivers at the truck stops. Where's the supply chain shortage coming from? You know, if you ask me, it's because people don't want to work in the places to load and unload us. That's what I think. But what do I know? I'm just a trucker. I don't know anything. But you know, it gets very frustrating when you need a part, you know, especially parts, man. Like, this part isn't so bad because I can deal with it. Yeah, it sucks, but I can deal with being cold. But what if you need something that your truck absolutely needs to run? You know, that's one of the things that is getting a lot of people right now, is they gotta sit and sit and sit and sit and wait because there are no parts because of the supply chain issues. How long we going to go off this supply chain issue excuse? Like, somebody fix it. I'm not asking for the government to fix it because they don't fix nothing they touch. But come on, people, let's get back to work. Let's do it. You know, now I very well could be wrong and people are actually working and it's just a media frenzy or you know, but I don't really think it's a media scare because you see it. You see it in trying to get parts and the delay and stuff like that, you know. So I don't know. We'll see. I just hope my heater core comes soon because boy, I need some heat. But we almost done getting unloaded. They're usually pretty quick here. So once we get done getting unloaded, I'll get my paperwork signed. We're gonna head back down the road to Kingspan, get loaded for tomorrow. That goes to Richmond. And then I pretty much got Kingspan all week again this week. They on all cylinders. I'm hoping since they were closed yesterday, they're not gonna be slam packed busy today. So we'll see, but I'll see y'all there. All right, we're back at the yard. Been back for a little bit of time. Got the Kingspan, got reloaded. Let's go to Richmond in the morning. Actually pretty cool because while I was sitting there, I got loaded inside, then I had to go up front and get the rest of my load because that product was up front. Then, you know, I go back around the building so that I can strap, put my edge protectors on, all that good stuff. And as I get out the truck, somebody yells bank shipping, and I look up and it's a guy who has seen some of my YouTube videos, another Hotshot, and was also rocking, he had a F550 and he was also rocking a 53-foot Diamond C step deck. So that was pretty cool to see. Haven't seen another step deck from Diamond C on the road until now, where somebody else was pulling it. And, you know, he had the same things to say about his, what I said about mine. You know, he loves it. His was a little bit different. He had the Hutch suspension instead of air ride. So that was probably the biggest difference. And his was the metallic silver, I believe, in color. So yeah, so that was pretty cool to see. First time I've actually met and talked to somebody who's seen my videos. So that was pretty cool. Shouts out to him for recognizing me, recognizing the truck and everything like that. We talked for a little bit while I was strapping and everything. Probably almost talked for almost an hour. You know, I wasn't even strapping, was just kind of, you know, shooting the breeze and talking about different stuff, talking about the trailers and different stuff. So that was pretty cool. But then one of his questions was, he said one of the videos that he did watch was when I was talking about the trouble I was having with my fenders. He asked me if I ever, you know, got that situated. And I told him, it's funny that you asked that because I thought I had the situation, you know, with losing fenders under control. And I pretty much do. I just keep a closer eye on them so that I don't end up losing them. And actually, when I was knocking the ice and stuff off of my trailer yesterday, I noticed one of them were loose on the passenger side of the truck, and it wasn't loose where at first I thought, oh great, here we go again, you know, I done everything, rid Loctite, weld, like how in the world is this thing still loose? But what it actually was is, I don't know if I can get a good picture in here because it's kind of dark, but those brackets right there, right here, they have 2 bolts in them, and there's 3 of them across the back of the fender. And that's what basically bolts the fender to the post mount. So it's basically 2 holes right here for bolts, so 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here, and 2 bolts on the inside. And when I was knocking off the ice yesterday, I noticed that it was loose, and what happened was I actually lost 2, and I mean they're only maybe 1/2 inch long. They're you know, they're not the biggest bolts in the world, but they do have a lock washer you know, on there as well. Well, I lost 2 of them. They must have vibrated out. I did not put red Loctite on those, so shame on me. I should have put red Loctite on, but I didn't necessarily think that I needed it, because I thought I had solved the problem with my ride height, my airbags, and you know, most of my problems was coming from the spring hanger bolt. So now gotta keep an eye on that stuff. So put new bolts in, Loctite, all that good stuff, tighten them up, and then even tighten the ones that did not come out, tighten them down, and then came to the other side and did the same thing. So now I know, because before I wasn't keeping an eye on those bolts right there. So now I know to keep an eye out on these things. So I think probably once a week, you know, at the end of my work week, you know, every Friday, I'll just grab my wrench, grab my 1/2 inch socket, and tighten them down. You know, just to make sure that they're tight, make sure they're not going nowhere, because these things, fenders, bumpers, exhaust pipes, these things are getting more and more expensive by the second, and they're taking longer and longer to get. You know, I got things on order right now that's just like little stuff. You know, one of the things being my my cold air cover, my grill cover, my winter front. You know, I ordered that thing back in December, first week of December, and I actually called today to see where it was at, because there was no delivery date, and they told me it's still 3 weeks out. Well, by the time it gets here, it'll be springtime and I won't need a winter front. It's the same with my heater cord. By the time it gets here, it'll probably be summertime. Who knows? But like I said earlier, man, that's the climate we're in. I don't understand it, but I guess it's not my place to understand it. I just got to deal with it. So in order to deal with it, I'm just going to take extra care and extra precaution on a bunch of little stuff, you know, to make sure that everything's copacetic, so I don't have to worry about losing something or breaking something and not being able to replace it. Now, I understand things go bad, things happen, things break, you know, that's not under your control. But the things that I am in control of, I'm going to try my damnedest to make sure nothing goes wrong on those things, just because I don't want to have to deal with it. So yeah, man, we're gonna get back at it in the morning. Got the old ladies whipped today, just cause, you know, it's a little snowy at the yard, so I didn't want to risk trying to get the charger stuck. So but yeah, actually I gotta lock my truck before we roll out. But I'll see y'all in the morning. All right, got that load dropped off in Richmond, made it back up here to Kingspan. Decided I'd go ahead and film a little bit now, so that I didn't have to film in the dark and have y'all mad at me for filming in the dark all the time. But I got to Kingspan and got around the corner, and there was 7 trucks in front of me. So I still got about, I think, 3 or 4 trucks in front of me still. I've been here for about 3 hours. So I'm just enjoying the heat, since I got heat when I'm sitting still. But speaking of heat, dropped off in Richmond and came out, and I saw a little puddle underneath the front of my truck, underneath my bumper. And I didn't think nothing about it. I thought it was just ice melting or something like that. And as I got closer, I noticed it was cooling. So I went ahead and popped my hood in the parking lot of the receiver, and my radiator's leaking. Yay me. So that radiator's probably 35 years old. So if I had to guess, because I mean it seems to be right after one another. When I added coolant to my truck, I noticed that my radiator cap, the gasket was pretty bad. So over the weekend I replaced it. And I think, this is just a hypothesis, I think what happened is the radiator was probably already weak in those spots, and it probably never busted or got a pinhole or something like that in it, because the pressure was being let out through the bad radiator cap. And as soon as I put a good radiator cap on is now when I start to have the leaky radiator. So I think putting the new radiator cap on has now allowed the pressure to build up as it's supposed to, but the radiator couldn't take it. So, new radiator in the works, but man, it's hard finding one. And they're expensive. I mean, expensive. So I got a lead out on a couple different ones. I think what I'm gonna end up doing, there's a place that has a kit that basically comes with the radiator, the charge air cooler, and the condenser already bolted together. You basically just pull the old out, pop the new in. I think that's probably what I'm gonna go with, but that thing's $4,500. Ooh, that's steep. It's crazy though, because man, you look at some of these radiators for newer trucks and they're cheaper. Like, why is my old stuff so much more expensive? Like, you know, you think you got an older truck that the stuff is got plenty of aftermarket parts, so things are cheaper. No, I found that not to be true in this scenario, in this case. I don't know if it has anything to do with the little red oval that I have in front of this truck, but ain't nothing cheap. $4,500 is steep, but it's gotta be done, man. But yeah, so no heat, hole in the radiator. It's not like terrible or it's leaking bad where I can't operate. You know, I can still drive, just gotta watch the, you know, the coolant levels, and the coolant levels really aren't dropping that much. Temperature's still staying good. This truck's not overheating or nothing like that. So, but you know, I don't want to run on it too long. You know, I want to make sure that I get that changed out fairly quick. So, gotta get on that. But man, before I get off here, man, I've been seeing a lot of stuff here lately when people are posting on social media or asking questions, and when they get helped, they don't want to take the help. Like, you ask a question or you post something up and somebody points out an issue or a potential issue, and then you get mad because they pointed out a potential issue. It's just help. It's just constructive criticism. Call it what you want. Take it. You know, I always talk about one of the things in this industry that's going downhill is the brotherhood. Nobody helps each other, stuff like that. That's part of the reason why. Nobody wants to help, because your help goes unwanted. People just act like they know everything, and they just, nah, I got it. I don't need your help. You know, they're so stuck in their ways, they don't want any help. Now, if it's bad help, I understand, cool. But still take it, put it in the back of your mind, let it go. But you never know, you will never know everything that this industry has in store for you. I mean, that's life in general. You'll never know it all. You know, there's a saying, if you're the smartest one in the room, then you're in the wrong room. I couldn't have came up with a better saying myself. I mean, that's so true. Stop pushing off help. Take the help. Take the constructive criticism, man. Like, you will be surprised from these guys, a lot of guys who have been in the industry longer than you. You'd be surprised of the wealth of knowledge that they have, and you just shun it away because you don't want your pride to be hurt. Well, I'm telling you one thing right now. It's going to be a whole lot more than your pride hurt if you don't listen to some of this help and go out and kill somebody because your pride was in the way. It don't make no sense that people are out here shunning off help and constructive criticism. Now, if somebody's nagging you about something, you know, and they're just being annoying, cool, I understand, say thank you and keep it moving. But a lot of guys out here, including myself, can use the help, use the different ways to do different things. You're never going to know it all. Stop acting like it. You know, I always talk about being a driver is a mentality. That's part of that mentality, is understanding how to take help, how to ask for help, how to take constructive criticism. You just shun everybody off and think you know it all, you're a steering wheel holder. Sorry to say it. You're never going to know everything. And the day that you think you know everything is the day that you're going to either hurt yourself or hurt somebody else. And I don't want to see that happen to nobody. So that's why I'm saying this. So, we're going to end it right there. I'm going to relax, try to get my load. Hope they hurry up. But, yeah, man, y'all take that help whenever the help is given, you know. With that being said, stay prayed up, grind hard, and stay humble.